Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Diamond Desert Arena in Glendale, Arizona, and this was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for Survivor Series War Games, which is this Saturday. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought it was an okay show, in my opinion. Wasn't great, but still was an okay show. But as a go-home show, as usual, WWE did not get us hyped for the pay-per-view Saturday, going into the pay-per-view this Saturday. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had a Tornado Tag Team match with the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius Creed, and they have taken on Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. We also had Bron Breakker. He ended up taking on Ludwig Kaiser. The World Tag Team Championships were on the line where Finn Balor and McDonaugh end up defending the titles against the War Raiders. We had the Alpha Academy versus the New Day. And the main event, we had a Women's Survivor Series Advantage match where the winner will have the advantage of her team's, War Games match. And it was Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax. And we also saw the unveil of the new WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, which I will give my thoughts on that when I get to it. And we also saw Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. They delivered one of the best segments of the night, because next week we are getting the 10th anniversary reunion of the New Day. So I expect next week we're going to see the breakup of the New Day and a heel turn for Xavier Woods. But overall, Monday Night Raw, like I said, okay show tonight. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw open up tonight with the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, the ring general. So Gunther made his way down to the ring, and of course, Gunther is going to defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest this Saturday at Survivor Series War Games. Of course, Damian Priest, a former World Heavyweight Champion, so he's getting his rematch. This is a rematch from SummerSlam when Gunther beat Priest to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So Jackie Redmond was in the ring. She was conducting the interview right here with Gunther. And Jackie Redmond ended up asking Gunther about his match against Damian Priest this Saturday at Survivor Series. But Jackie Redmond ended up asking first, she wants to address something that happened last week. And of course, we saw the video from last week where Gunther blindsided Damian Priest when Priest was just, signing autographs. And Priest ended up driving Gunther through these road crates. And that led to Priest end up taking Gunther down. So after we saw that recap, Jackie Redmond ended up saying that Gunther's time in the company has been nothing, if not dominant. And she ended up saying, but ever since a rare loss against Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, we've seen a different side of Gunther. So she ended up saying that Damian Priest ended up saying that Gunther is no longer the confident champion who never loses. So the crowd ended up booing as Jackie Redmond ended up saying to Gunther, what is your response to what Priest said? So Gunther started pacing around, and before Gunther could say anything on the mic, Damian Priest came out. Damian Priest got a big pop from the crowd there in Glendale. Priest ended up getting on the mic. He ended up telling Gunther not to let him interrupt him. He ended up saying that Gunther can tell the world how easy it'll be to beat him. So Priest then ended up telling Jackie Redmond to give the mic to Gunther because he wants to see if the champion grew a set and will say something to his face. So Jackie Redmond ended up handing the mic to Gunther, sheepishly handing the mic to Gunther, and she didn't believe in the ring. So Priest ended up saying that Gunther is trying to make it seem like the old him is back. But they know that's not true. He ended up saying that Gunther used to have a killer vibe, and no one would make a move on him. So Priest was like, maybe the pressure of being a champion got to Gunther. Priest ended up saying that he understands, but he wants the pressure back. He ended up saying that Gunther has accomplished a lot in his life. Priest ended up saying that he knows why Gunther is the way he is. He ended up saying that in Gunther's life, he's never had to deal with a problem like Damian Priest. So Priest ended up saying that at Survivor Series, this problem is taking that championship. He ended up saying, what happens to the ring general when he loses to a guy from the street? So Gunther started sneering at Damian Priest. Priest then invited Gunther to talk. So Gunther ended up approaching Priest, and he ended up holding the mic. Gunther then dropped the mic and turned his back to leave. So Gunther did not say a thing in this opening segment. Gunther then ended up turning around, and he ended up hitting Priest in the head with the mic twice. Gunther started mounting Priest, and he started punching away at him. Priest then pushed Gunther off, but Gunther laid out Priest with a big boot. So Gunther was shown fired up as he threw Priest out of the ring. Gunther then connected with a short arm clothesline to Priest on the floor, and then he cleared off the commentary table. Refs end up coming down. Priest then grabbed Gunther and sent him into the ring post. Priest then started punching away at Gunther, and then Priest put Gunther through the commentary table with the razor's edge, which that was awesome to see. Priest then grabbed the World Heavyweight Championship, and he held the title up over Gunther. He then threw the title down on Gunther, and pretty much that was basically how the segment ended. But overall, I thought this was a awesome segment to open Monday Night Raw here. And Damian Priest throwing a lot of shots at Gunther, saying maybe, ever since Gunther became champion, he had pressure. The pressure got to Gunther. And really like that, Priest ended up saying that Gunther used to have a killer vibe to himself, and that people would not make a move on Gunther. So he was just laying in some, truth about Gunther. But overall, awesome segment it was. And then we saw Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was warming up backstage, and Naomi ended up approaching Bianca. Naomi ended up asking Bianca how Jade Cargill is. Because, of course, Jade Cargill was shown lid on the back of a car windshield. And, we don't know who attacked Jade Cargill. Maybe it was Bianca Belair. Who knows? So Bianca ended up saying to Naomi that Jade won't return for a while, and that the injuries are bad. She ended up saying when they figure out who did it, they'll take that person out. So Naomi ended up saying to Bianca that, since Jade is out, they're going to have to need a fifth member for War Games. So Io Sky walked up, and she also suggested Kairi Sane. But Bianca wasn't sure about having more damage control in the match. So Rhea Ripley then walked up. Of course, face mask and all. Rhea Ripley ended up saying to them, whoever they choose needs to carry their weight and stay out of her way. So Bianca ended up asking, Rhea, since she is calling the War Games team, Team Rhea, if she has any suggestions. So Rhea ended up saying that she doesn't care as long as they leave, her and Liv Morgan. So Bianca ended up saying that she'll carry the team in the War Games Advantage match. So that was basically that. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had the first match of the night. We had Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. They ended up taking on the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius Creed. Of course, they were accompanied by Ivy Nile and Chad Gable. And this was a decent match here. So the Creed brothers end up taking it to Rey and Dragon Lee as the match ended up beginning. Julius ended up whipping Rey stern first to the turnbuckles. Both of the Creeds then attacked Dragon Lee and whipped him hard into the turnbuckles, to which Dragon Lee collapsed. The Creeds ended up pulling Dragon Lee up, and they whipped Dragon Lee into Rey. Of course, Brutus ended up laughing at both Rey and Dragon Lee. So the Creeds ended up sending Dragon Lee into the ropes. Dragon Lee ended up taking Brutus down with a run Hurricanrana. Dragon Lee then threw Rey into the air for a Sea Senton on Julius. Rey followed up with a Quebrada, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Julius ended up kicking out. Rey and Dragon Lee ended up attacking Brutus with some strikes, and they ended up going for the cover, to which Brutus ended up kicking out. Rey and Dragon Lee ended up sending Brutus into the ropes, but Brutus ended up attacking both Rey and Dragon Lee. Julius ended up following up with a clothesline, and he ended up getting Rey out of the ring. Brutus put Dragon Lee on the top rope and started clubbing away at him. Brutus then ended up climbing the ropes, and Dragon Lee ended up headbutting Brutus into the Tree of Woe. Julius ended up leaping over Brutus to the top rope, and this was a nice spot here, where we had Julius end up hitting Dragon Lee with a superplex from the top rope, which was amazing. A beautiful superplex on the top rope. Julius then ended up kneeing Dragon Lee in the face. He ended up going for the cover, to which Dragon Lee ended up kicking out. Rey then got on the apron, and he shouldered Julius. He ended up attempted a sunset flip, but Julius ended up pulling Rey up for a powerbomb. Dragon Lee ended up charging, and he ended up pinning Brutus with a Hurricanrana off the apron down to the floor, which was great. Rey then countered Julius's powerbomb into the Hurricanrana into the ropes. So Rey ended up going for the 619 to Julius, but Julius popped up and clotheslined Rey, which that was crazy. So as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Julius ended up whipping Rey into the corner. Rey ended up booting Julius back, and he came off the second rope with a dive, but Julius caught Rey in a press. He ended up doing a cartwheel slam on Rey, and we had Julius ended up knocking Dragon Lee off the apron. He ended up jumping to the top rope for a 450 splash on Rey. So Julius ended up going for the cover. Dragon Lee broke up the pin. So at the end of the match, we had Julius getting into the ring because he ended up hitting Dragon Lee with a suplex on the floor. So Rey knocked Julius into the ropes. Rey then knocked Brutus into the corner, and he nearly took out the ref. So Chad Gable was at ringside, and he twisted Ray's mask around. So Ray was blinded because his mask was turned around, and that led to Julius rolling Ray up. So there you go. The Creed brothers end up winning the match. Post-match, Chad Gable ended up celebrating with the Creed brothers at ringside, and pretty much American Made posed on the commentary table. But overall, decent Tornado Tag Team match this was. Very fun match. A lot of good spots that we saw. And then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Finn Balor and JD McDonough. They were backstage with Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Dominic Mysterio, and Carlito. Of course, we're in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. R-Truth walked up. He ended up saying that he needs a place to hide from Butch. So he's still referring to Pete Dunne as Butch, to which we all know, Pete Dunne, hates that name of Butch. So Balor ended up saying that Truth needs a place to hide from him if he doesn't leave. So R-Truth ended up saying that they're not a family anymore, and Thanksgiving is off. R-Truth thinking that he's inviting the whole Judgment Day to Thanksgiving dinner. So Balor ended up calming Carlito down. He ended up saying that the time for fun and games is over. And he ended up saying that Liv Morgan needs the advantage in War Games. Balor ended up saying that since Dominic couldn't stop Damian Priest, he's on track for the World Heavyweight Championship. He ended up saying that both Dominic and Carlito also lost to the War Raiders last week. But they softened up the War Raiders for them, making them good team players. So Balor ended up saying that teamwork will keep the Judgment Day as tag team champions for 154 days and counting. So he ended up saying that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez will leave War Games victorious. He ended up saying that it will be a great week for the Judgment Day. And he ended up saying there are no leaders, but when they listen to him, they're one big, happy, successful family. So that's all what Balor had to say here. And then we had Bron Breakker. He ended up facing Ludwig Kaiser here. And this was okay here. This was an okay match. Although, when I get to it, man, Bron Breakker, him doing that spear on the outside. Wait till I get to explaining that. But this match came about because, last week on Monday Night Raw, Ludwig Kaiser interrupted Bron Breakker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, and Kaiser attacked both Breakker and Sheamus. So then the match got underway. Bron Breakker powered Kaiser into the corner and started showing the way at Kaiser's midsection. He then ended up sending Kaiser flying with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Kaiser then quickly raked Breakker's eyes, and he punched Breakker in the corner. Breakker came back, and he started punching Kaiser, and both guys were going back and forth, trading punches. Kaiser ended up chopping Bron Breakker, so Breakker ended up quickly hitting the ropes, and he clotheslined Kaiser down. Breakker then ended up putting Kaiser on the top rope, but Kaiser raked Breakker's eyes again. Breakker then came back by scaling the ropes, but Kaiser slipped through Breakker's legs. Kaiser knocked Breakker back, and he charged at Breakker, but Breakker ended up taking Kaiser out with a spinning gutbuster. Kaiser then rolled out of the ring to recover. So Breakker ended up going out of the ring, and he ended up charging at Kaiser, and it looked like Breakker was going to spear Kaiser into the commentary table, but Kaiser sidestepped, and Breakker ran sternum first into the corner of the commentary table, which that looked brutal. That spot looked brutal there, because the commentary table ended up shifting a bit. So you saw the commentary table kind of move. which, full force from Bron Breakker just running into that. He's going to be feeling that for a couple of days. So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kaiser was applying an abdominal stretch on Breakker. He started digging his elbow into Breakker's ribs, to which he ended up going full force into the commentary table. Breakker tried to fight out of the stretch, but Kaiser scoop slammed Breakker down. Kaiser then grabbed Breakker's arm and started punching Breakker's ribs. Kaiser backed up and he circled Breakker, and then he kicked Breakker in his chest. So Breakker got fired up as Kaiser started slapping Breakker in the face, and he slapped his head. So Breakker took it to Kaiser with a diving clothesline. He then started punching Kaiser down twice. Breakker then blocked a kick from Kaiser, but Kaiser kneed Breakker in his mouth. You had Breakker end up hitting a Frankensteiner on Kaiser, which was good. And the crowd was behind Bron Breakker here as they were barking. So Breakker started charging at Kaiser, but Kaiser wiped Breakker out with an enziguri. Breakker then crawled out of the ring, and he lied on the steel steps. Kaiser got out of the ring on the other side, and Sheamus ran down, and he attacked Kaiser. So the ref saw that and called for the bell. So Ludwig Kaiser won the match by disqualification. Post-match, Sheamus took it to Kaiser and started punching away at him. Breakker then pulled Sheamus back, and Sheamus got in Bron Breakker's face. Adam Pearce ran down with, of course, officials and security. Breakker and Sheamus began exchanging blows, and security and officials had to break them apart. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. And overall, I thought, it was a okay match between Kaiser and Bron Breakker here. So as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Sheamus, Bron Breakker, and Kaiser were fighting on the stage. Security had to separate them. Adam Pearce got on the mic, and he was furious. He screamed, and he ended up saying, "I have seen enough." He ended up saying, since everyone wants to fight, we're going to get a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series. So Sheamus, Breakker, and Kaiser all broke free, and they started brawling once again. So that was basically that. But I knew this was going to be a triple threat. I saw this coming. I know a lot of you probably saw this coming too. So triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series. Sheamus versus Bron Breakker versus Ludwig Kaiser. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with the Usos and Sami Zayn. Kathy Kelly ended up asking them about the return of Paul Heyman and CM Punk. Sami Zayn ended up saying that they were shocked and they were ready to go into the match with it only being 5-on-4. But now they have CM Punk. He ended up saying that Punk is a complicated guy, and everyone who knows him has a complicated history with him. He ended up saying that Punk and Roman will sit down and talk on Friday. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he wants to trust Punk, but the question is if they can with the Usos and Roman Reigns. So Jimmy Uso ended up saying that the wise man is vouching for Punk. He ended up saying now they just need the Yeet Man to win the War Games advantage match against Jacob Fatu on Friday. So Jey Uso was fired up. He ended up saying that he will win and beat Jacob Fatu this Friday on SmackDown. So that should be a good match on Friday. And then we had Finn Balor and Jay McDonaugh. And they had taken on the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. This was for the World Tag Team Championship. And this was a good match here. We had Balor and Eric end up starting off the match. Eric took it to Balor, and he had bringing JD McDonough into the ring the hard way. Eric ended up running through both Balor and McDonough with a double clothesline. Ivar tagged in. McDonough was sent out of the ring. Eric then scoop slammed Ivar onto Balor. Ivar ended up going to the apron, and he took out both Balor and McDonough with a somersault senton. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Balor was in control of the match. He ended up applying a front face lock to Eric. So we had Eric end up trying for a back body drop, but Balor countered that into a sunset flip. Eric ended up going for a cannonball, but Balor ended up moving out of the way. McDonough then tagged in. He had pinned a snapmare onto Eric. Balor then tagged back in. He had pinned a slingshot stomp to Eric. McDonough tagged in and followed up with a slingshot splash. He ended up going for the cover, to which Eric ended up kicking out. So it was good double team work from McDonough and Balor here. So McDonough wasn't happy with the ref's count because he thought that would have been a 3. So Balor tagged in. Eric fought back with some right hands. He then knocked Balor back and started punching away at McDonough. So McDonough tagged in. He ended up going for an avalanche on Eric, but Eric moved out of the way. Balor quickly tagged in. He stopped Eric from making the tag to Ivar. Eric ended up wiping Balor out with a straight right hand. So at this point, Ivar and McDonough end up both tagging in. Ivar delivered a back body drop to McDonough, and then he followed up with a sidewalk slam. Ivar flattened McDonough with a basement cross body block. McDonough then sidestepped an avalanche, but Ivar ended up hitting a seated senton onto McDonough. Balor ran in, but Ivar took Balor out with a spin kick. So Ivar hit McDonough with a Bronco Buster. Eric then tagged in, and him and Ivar delivered a pop-up power slam onto McDonough. So Eric ended up going for the cover. Balor broke up the pin. And so we had Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. They ended up running down. The War Raiders ended up taking both Dominic and Carlito out. The War Raiders then ended up hitting McDonough with the War Machine. So we had Eric end up going for the cover, and Dominic put McDonough's foot on the bottom rope, and the ref saw that. So the ref ejected Dominic from ringside. Eric then went to the outside, and he ended up taking out both Dominic and Carlito. Eric then ended up going up to the top, but Balor grabbed Eric by his beard, and he snapped Eric off the top rope. McDonough ended up going for the cover on Eric. So there you go. The Judgment Day ended up winning the match, retaining the World Tag Team Championship. But overall, good match it was, and the War Raiders were over with the crowd here in this match. Like, you heard the crowd going, war, war, war. So I'm really glad that the War Raiders are getting over. So then, we had Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods backstage. Of course, WWE ended up doing a promo to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the New Day next week on Monday Night Raw. So Xavier Woods ended up saying that he wants to squash the last few months because he loves Kofi. Kofi ended up saying to Xavier that he's proud of what they've done. And next week, they'll celebrate 10 years. He ended up saying for now, they'll show the world what the New Day is about. So then, Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. They have taken on Otis and Akira Tozawa of the Alpha Academy. Of course, they were accompanied by Maxine Dupree. And I gotta say, this match was not needed, in my opinion. This match was only done for the New Day to get another loss and for the heel turn to come next week from Xavier Woods. So we had Akira Tozawa end up hitting Xavier Woods with a senton splash. You had Otis end up hitting Kofi with the Caterpillar. So Akira Tozawa ended up going for the pin on Xavier Woods. So there you go. The Alpha Academy ended up winning the match. This match lasted a minute. Post-match, Kofi and Xavier Woods started arguing. Woods ended up shouting at Kofi that he is supposed to be the quarterback. Kofi ended up chasing after Xavier Woods, and he was furious. So the camera followed both Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston through gorilla position and backstage. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston here absolutely gave us the best segment of the night here. Xavier Woods ended up saying that Kofi is wrestling like garbage. To which Kofi ended up saying that he's done nothing but help Xavier Woods. Kofi ended up saying that he gave Xavier Woods his Intercontinental Championship and kneeled while he was King of the Ring. He ended up saying that all Xavier Woods has done is fumble title shots and the crown. So Kofi was like to Xavier Woods that there is a reason why him and Big E never let Xavier Woods call the shots, because Woods is too reckless. So Xavier Woods ended up saying to Kofi that he remembers when Kofi was too terrified to take a risk. And Xavier Woods ended up saying that he is the reason Kofi became champion. Of course, during the whole Kofi Mania. So Kofi ended up saying to Xavier Woods that he was a Hall of Famer when Xavier Woods asked him to join him. And he ended up saying that Woods shouldn't be talking about championships and titles. He ended up saying that Woods has never won a singles championship by himself. He ended up saying that Woods is not good enough to be a champion, like him and Big E. And that is not his fault. It's not Kofi's fault. So Xavier Woods was furious. And these two were just laying into each other, back and forth. And this was great. So Xavier Woods ended up saying that he was good enough to fight for Kofi and take his beatings. Woods ended up saying that he believed in Kofi and turned it into Kofi Mania. He ended up saying that Kofi then pissed it away in 6 seconds to Brock Lesnar. Yeah, we all want to forget that match. So Kofi ended up saying that if Xavier Woods was anywhere else, and Woods ended up asking if Kofi would actually get mad if it were somebody else. So they were shown face to face. Kofi was like, "Oh, I'll see you next week in the ring during the reunion." So both Kofi and Xavier Woods furiously separated from each other. Oh man, what a segment this was. This was the best segment of the night. This was a compelling segment. The crowd was just going, oh, during all the shots that both Xavier Woods and Kofi were, just taken from each other. But yeah, good segment. So he went from a good segment of the night here with from Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to the Final Testament and The Miz. So they were backstage. The Miz ended up saying that the Wyatt Six are in the arena. Karrion Kross ended up asking if they saw The Miz. Kross ended up telling Scarlett to stay in the back. So Karrion Kross and the Final Testament make Miz come with them to find the Wyatt Six. So Scarlett was all alone in the room. She then looked in the mirror, and you saw Nikki Cross in the background, as Scarlett was horrified. So pretty much that was basically that. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw the continuation of that segment where The Miz ended up saying that he was certain that he saw the Wyatt Six. So Karrion Kross ended up saying to The Miz that they'll find them soon. Pete Dunne then came up. He ended up asking Karrion Kross and The Miz if they've seen R-Truth. But they blew Pete Dunne off. So Karrion Kross knocked on the locker room door. So both Karrion Kross and The Miz walked in. And of course, the locker room was ransacked. And Scarlett was terrified. So Karrion Kross was like, "Oh, who did this to you?" And Scarlett was like, "Nikki Cross." And on the mirror, it said, "Everyone has something to lose," written in lipstick. So that was basically that. But like I said in previous other reviews, I don't care about this Wyatt Six Final Testament feud. I really don't. And then we saw a video like before Raw happened. Adam Pearce was in the ring. Adam Pearce ended up announcing the creation of the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So Adam Pearce ended up saying that it will be earned with blood, sweat, and tears. And it begins next week with a tournament to crown the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. So I'm like, do we really need a Women's Intercontinental Championship? Do we? I mean, the belt looks good. This is what the belt looks like here. But yeah, so that's what it looks like. But like I said, do we really need this title? If WWE is going to do away with the Women's Tag Team Championships, which I do hope they do, because those titles are absolutely pointless. If they do away and retire the Women's Tag Team titles, this could mean that we might get, good booking for the Women's United States Championship and the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Because, Monday Night Raw is going to be on Netflix. From what I heard, it's going to be 3 hours. We're going back to 3 hours with Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Jesus Christ. And then SmackDown is going to be 3 hours, I heard, on USA. So, with that, there's going to be plenty good ways to book these two titles. Now we know that in the next draft, Triple H is going to be bringing a lot of women up, a lot of women call-ups from NXT. You already know that that's going to happen. But I thought that these titles were going to float around both brands, both Raw and SmackDown. To me, it looks like the Women's United States Championship is going to be only exclusive to SmackDown, and the Women's Intercontinental Championship is going to be exclusive to Monday Night Raw. Because everyone that's in the Women's United States Championship tournament are all SmackDown superstars. And you're going to have women participants from the Monday Night Raw Women's Division competing in the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament. That's how the way I see it. I thought this was these titles were going to float from brand to brand, from what I heard. But it looks like that's not the case. But like I said, we don't need a Women's Intercontinental Championship. And then we saw Nia Jax Nia Jax was backstage with Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Of course, this is your Women's Survivor Series War Games match. Nia Jax ended up saying that War Games is over. Win or lose in this advantage match. She ended up saying that it's about squashing Bianca Belair. And when she squashes Bianca Belair, they will have the advantage in War Games and will win it. So that was what Nia Jax had to say. Then we had a promo from Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa ended up saying that we're 5 days away from Survivor Series. He ended up saying that Roman Reigns caught them off guard on Friday. He ended up saying they've got the wise man back and CM Punk on his side. Sikoa ended up saying, oh, that was a good one. But that's all Roman will get. He ended up saying that Roman took his best shot. And now it's his turn. Sikoa ended up saying that this Friday, it's Jey Uso versus Jacob Fatu. And the winner of the match gets the advantage in War Games. Sikoa ended up saying that he doesn't care if Roman has 100 people at his side. Sikoa ended up saying that he has the advantage because he's the tribal chief. And Sikoa ended up saying that he acknowledges his bloodline over Roman. There you go. That was what Solo Sikoa had to say. Good promo from Solo Sikoa. Of course, he was with his bloodline. Main event. Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax. This was a Women's War Games advantage match. The winner of the match will have, advantage in War Games, for, their team. But this was surprisingly a good match here. This was a good main event here. Match ended up getting on the way. Nia Jax ended up quickly running Bianca over. Nia Jax ended up throwing Bianca across the ring and avalanched her. Nia Jax then whipped Bianca into the corner and charged at her, but Bianca ended up sidestepping. Bianca then ended up attacking Nia Jax. She ended up doing the 10 punches in the corner to Nia Jax, but Nia Jax ended up pulling Bianca out of the corner. Bianca ended up escaping. She then jumped to the second rope and taunted Nia Jax. Bianca then backflipped over Nia. She then dropkicked Nia out of the ring. Bianca jumped off the apron, but she got caught by Nia Jax. To which Nia Jax drove Bianca into the ring post twice. So Nia Jax then ended up sending Bianca into the barricade, and then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Bianca Belair was in control of the match. She snapped Nia Jax off the top rope. She then hit the ropes, but Nia Jax ended up picking Bianca up, and she scoop slammed Bianca. Nia then followed that scoop slam up with a senton splash. She ended up going for the cover, to which Bianca kicked out. So Nia ended up sending Bianca to the corner. Bianca countered with a sunset flip attempt. Nia Jax didn't go down, and she ended up trying to go for a cannonball to Bianca, but Bianca moved out of the way. Nia Jax got out of a German suplex, to which Bianca flipped through a back suplex from Nia, and she sidestepped her. Nia Jax ended up flying into the ring post and fell out of the ring, to which she ended up shouting, "Oh!" Which, that made me laugh. That's going to be the new meme now for Nia Jax. First it was, "My hole," and then now it's, "Ow!" So yeah, there's your new Nia Jax meme. So Bianca ended up getting Nia Jax in the ring. She ended up going for a handspring standing moonsault, but Nia Jax moved out of the way. Nia Jax flattened Bianca with an elbow drop. She then followed up with a leg drop. She ended up going for the cover, to which Bianca ended up kicking out. So, later on, Bianca ended up pressing Nia Jax up, and she slammed Nia Jax down to the canvas. And that flip slam, was a little, scary there. But Bianca ended up hitting the handspring standing moonsault. She ended up going for the cover, and we had Nia Jax end up kicking out. So we had Nia Jax end up attacking Bianca, and she had pinned a Samoan drop to Bianca. Nia Jax climbed to the middle rope for an annihilator, but Bianca ended up popping up. Bianca hit Nia Jax with a German suplex off the middle rope. So as Nia Jax went down, she ripped the top turnbuckle pad off, exposing the turnbuckle. So Bianca ended up going for the cover, and Nia Jax ended up kicking out. So we had later on, Nia Jax ended up avalanching Bianca into the exposed turnbuckle, and she ended up throwing Bianca across the ring. Nia Jax then avalanched Bianca again, and she cleared the commentary table off. Nia Jax picked up Bianca and delivered the Samoan drop to Bianca onto the commentary table, to which, of course, the table did not break. So Nia Jax was looking for a count out, but Bianca was moving, too quickly. Nia Jax ended up going to the outside and drove Bianca into the steel steps. Nia Jax got back into the ring. She got onto the second rope, and she started posing on the turnbuckles, which got boos from the crowd. So Bayley ended up coming out. Bayley pulled Nia Jax down into the exposed turnbuckle. So Bianca then ended up hitting Nia Jax with the 450. She ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Bianca Belair ended up winning the match, so her team now has the War Games advantage. So overall, this was a very good match here, surprisingly. And, that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Overall, okay show it was tonight. But, as far as the go-home show, it didn't do nothing to hype us up for Survivor Series this Saturday. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. There will be no AEW Dynamite review this Wednesday. I'll be working late, but do stay tuned on Thursday when I do my yearly traditional Thanksgiving morning vlog. So stay tuned for that on Thursday. So until then, see you all later.